Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2457 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow if you have chosen to grow before. In today's Wisdom Nugget, we'll be trekking through Psalm 20, specifically focusing on verses 1 through 5 from the New Living Translation. This is a unique, beautiful psalm because it represents a prayer for the king before he goes into battle. It's a community prayer, asking for God's blessing and protection on their leader. Today's study will explore these verses meant for King David and how they apply to us in our spiritual battles and challenges. Let's begin with reading Psalm chapter 20, verses 1 through 5 from the New Living Translation. In times of trouble, may the Lord answer your cry. May the name of the God of Jacob keep you safe from all harm. May he send you help from the sanctuary and strengthen you from Jerusalem. May he remember all your gifts and look favorably on your burnt offerings. May he grant your heart's desire and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy when we hear your victory and raise the victory banner in the name of our God. May the Lord answer all your prayers. The first verse begins with a powerful declaration. In times of trouble, may the Lord answer your cry. May the name of the God of Jacob keep you safe from all harm. Here, we see a community rallying around his leader, lifting up a prayer for divine protection in the face of impending danger. The psalm was likely sung before King David went to the battle, reflecting a deep confidence in God's ability to provide security and protection. This prayer is not just for the king, though. It has broader implications for all of us who face our own times of trouble. The psalmist reminds us that when we cry out to the Lord in our distress, we can trust that he hears us and will answer. There is a comforting assurance here. God is not distant or unaware of our struggles. He is near, and his name, the name of the God of Jacob, is strong and a mighty refuge. The reference to the God of Jacob is significant. Jacob, as we know from Genesis, was a man who encountered many challenges and struggles, both externally and within himself. Yet God remained faithful to Jacob, protecting him and fulfilling his promises to him. In invoking the name of God of Jacob, the psalmist reminds us that the God who stays true to his covenant people, even in times of trouble. Just as God was faithful to Jacob, he is faithful to us, keeping us safe from harm as we trust in him. This verse speaks to the heart of every believer who has ever faced difficulty. Whether our troubles are physical, emotional, or spiritual, we can cry out to God, knowing that he is both willing and able to answer. The prayer continues in verse 2. May he send you help from his sanctuary and strengthen you from Jerusalem. Here we see a request for divine help coming directly from God's holy place, his sanctuary. In the Old Testament, the sanctuary represented the place where God's presence dwelled. It was a place of power, holiness, and protection. For King David and the Israelites, the sanctuary was the heart of their worship and the center of their relationship with God. It's where they brought their sacrifices and offerings, and where the presence of God was manifested. In asking for help from God's sanctuary, the people are essentially asking for God to intervene on their behalf of their king, to provide supernatural aid and strength as he goes into battle. For us, this verse holds a similar meaning. We may not be preparing physically for battles like David, but we face spiritual and emotional battles every day. When we cry out to God for help, we can trust in his power to come from a heavenly sanctuary. God is not limited by our circumstances. He is ever present, and his strength comes from his eternal throne. It is a reminder that our help comes from the Lord, the creator of heaven and earth, and his strength is more than sufficient for whatever we are facing. Verse 3 takes a more personal turn. May he remember all your gifts and look favorably on your burnt offerings. In ancient Israel, sacrifices and offerings were the way to express devotion to God, seek atonement, and to ask for his favor. David, as the king, would have brought his offerings to the Lord before battle, seeking God's blessing for what lay ahead. The people's prayer here is that God will remember David's faithfulness and accept his offerings, showing him favor in the upcoming battle. This verse shows the connection between devotion to God and his blessings. It reflects the idea of what God looks upon the heart for our actions of his people and rewards those who are faithful to him. While we no longer offer burnt sacrifices today, we can still apply this verse to our lives. Our gifts to God, whether they are acts of service, prayers, or offerings, are seen by him, and he responds to our faithfulness. We may not be seeking success in a literal battle, but when we dedicate our lives, our actions, and our resources to God, we can trust that He looks upon us with favor and blesses our efforts. This verse encourages us to approach God with sincerity and devotion when we come before Him in prayer or offer our time, talents, or resources, that we should do so with a heart that seeks to honor Him. In verse 4, the prayer moves to asking God to grant success. May He grant your heart's desire and make all your plans succeed. What a powerful prayer. The people are asking God to give their king not only what he needs, but also what he desires. They are praying for victory, yes, but more than that, they are praying for David's heart would be aligned with God's will and that his plans would find success. This verse reveals the important connection between our desires, our plans, and God's will. When we seek to live in alignment with God, our desires and plans should reflect His purpose. As we pray for God's blessing in our lives, we should also be praying for our desires that would be shaped to His desires and that our plans would be according to His will. This is not a blank check for anything that you want. Instead, it is a reminder that when we seek God and align our hearts with Him, He is faithful to bring success to our plans that are within His will. It is a call to trust God with our deepest hope and aspirations, knowing that He will do what's best for us. When we align our hearts with the plan of God's will, we position ourselves to experience favor and success in ways that we may not have even imagined. And finally, in verse 5, we come to the expression of joyful expectation. May we shout for joy when we hear of your victory and raise our victory banner in the name of our God. May the Lord answer all your prayers. The people's faith is evident here. They are already anticipating victory. The verse paints a picture of celebration, shouts of joy, a victory banner raised high in honor of God's name, and the people are confident that the Lord will answer their prayers and that they are ready to rejoice in the victory that He will bring. What a beautiful reminder for us to live with this kind of faith. The people didn't wait until after the battle was won to celebrate. They were already preparing to give God the glory. This teaches us that we, too, should be confident in God's ability to bring us through our struggles. We can trust that He will answer our prayers, and we can celebrate the victory that He will bring even before it arrives. Raising the victory banner in the name of the God is a symbolic way of declaring that all the success, all triumph, belongs to Him. The Israelites knew that any victory that they experienced was not because of their own strength, but because of God's intervention. In the same way, it is true today. When we experience victories in our lives, we must remember to give God the glory, for He is the one who brings us through them. As we reflect on these first 5 verses of Psalm 20, we see a powerful pattern for prayer and faith. The people lift up their king, asking for God's protection, strength, favor, and success. They trust that God will answer their prayers and are ready to celebrate the victory that He will provide. For us today, the psalm serves as a reminder to pray in confidence, to seek God's help in our times of trouble, and to trust that He will bring success to our plans when they are aligned with His will. It also encourages us to celebrate God's victory in our lives, giving Him the glory for all He has done. Thank you for joining me on this trek through Psalm chapter 20, verses 1 through 5. I encourage you to continue reflecting on these verses, asking God to shape your desires, to guide your plans, and to bring victory in your spiritual battles. As always, keep moving forward in your pursuit of wisdom, and remember to keep on trekking along the path of righteousness. Until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you as you walk in His wisdom. If you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.